Can you dig it?
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to another fine episode of the Florida Files, where you, in fact, get a fine taste of Florida. Blackie Alvarez, ladies and gentlemen. That is his name. And, in fact, I double-checked. So let's talk about dear old Blackie. From Bonafide, Florida, a place in which I didn't know existed either, regardless. My dear friend Blackie was honking his horn at another individual on the road. Let's ask ourselves, first of all, before I continue on with the story. What was this man doing? Not this man, but the man that he was honking at, to upset him to this degree? He doesn't seem like somebody that I personally would want to have a bad interaction with. Whatever he did to piss him off, it pissed him off. Because it wasn't long before he got in front of said vehicle and gave him a nice little, brake check. Because before you knew it, Blackie was pointing his weapon at this said vehicle. And then he got back in his car and just drove off. Now we can ask ourselves a million times why he did this. And why he thought his weapon and that $1 million smile was going to absolve him of his sins. But regardless, officers arrived on the scene. Blackie was nowhere to be found, probably not even identified as Blackie. And I'm sure officers on scene received plenty of descriptive words such as long hair, brown eyes, $1 million smile. I wonder what his tattoo says. They found him, searched him. Evidently, he had the weapon on him that was described in this civil altercation, as well as a pair of brass knuckles. That's a interesting choice. 2 counts of false imprisonment, 2 counts of assault with a deadly weapon, possession of a firearm by a convicted felon. Checks out. 2 counts of an unlawful carry of a concealed weapon and driving without a license. He also has an outstanding warrant in Bay County for not paying child support. $1 million smile. Now that we're nice and cozy, we can head down to Davenport, where I want you to close your eyes. Imagine it's your 18th birthday. Why aren't your eyes closed? Alright. It's your 18th birthday. Happy birthday. A day of excitement, joy, adulthood. Nothing's going to stand in your way. College, perhaps the military, or maybe, like Taylor Voyard, we get high on mushrooms and head down to our local 7-Eleven. Procure 2 packs of cigarettes, and procure as in he took them without permission from the establishment, aka stole them and left. But I suppose intelligence comes with age as well, because when officers arrived on the scene, he was still there. Matter of fact, he was in front of the store. Officers approached the young man, where he would proclaim he was God and that he was leaving. Off he went. I suppose speed comes with age as well, because officers caught up to him and arrested him, answering the question once and for all that he's not God. Glad we got that out the way. I believed him. Burglary of an occupied structure, resisting arrest without violence, petty theft, introducing contraband into the detention facility. What do you have on him? Possession of meth, possession of drug paraphernalia, and tampering with physical evidence. I am your host, Tanmrclean. Thank you all for enjoying this fine episode of the Florida Files.